Hey guys, in today's video, it sort of feels like the end of an era. Don't worry, I'm not quitting YouTube or anything like that, but on the left we have my Spider-Man No Way Home custom minifigures that I made using pieces that existed at the time, and on the right we have all of the new minifigures from the new Spider-Man Final Battle that comes out August 1st, 2023. It's just kind of crazy to look at these side by side and think, man, when the movie came out 2 years ago, these are the only pieces we had to choose from to build the best figures that we could, and now we actually have official figures from the movie, so I just wanted to do a side-by-side comparison of what I built 2 years ago and what LEGO gave us just recently. So this is one for the Mini Superheroes Today fans. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and let's get into the video. Alright guys, so the format of this video will be my custom minifigure will be on the left and the official will be on the right. That being said, we've got Ned, and unfortunately the one that comes in the official set is really not accurate at all. In the film, Ned had a blue jacket with yellow sleeves, and they gave him a red jacket for whatever reason, and they also gave him black hair when he actually had brown hair in the movie. For my custom, I used the brown hair, of course, and the face came from Ned from the LEGO Spider-Man Far From Home accessory pack, but overall, I do think the new minifig is decent. It's just that jacket color really throws it off, and this hair technically is in a set right now with Dwight Schrute, so it really doesn't make sense why they gave him black hair. Still kind of scratching my head over that one. Doctor Strange is pretty interesting because the figures are exactly the same with the exception of the torso. The one that comes in the official set actually has the Multiverse of Madness design on the torso, whereas this torso actually came from the Spider-Man No Way Home set. So this is actually what he had in the movie. The legs are the same, the hair and head is the same, and of course the cape is the same too. But on my custom, I added these arms from the CMF Sailor to add just a little bit of gold detail around the wrists. And don't get me wrong, the Multiverse of Madness figure is actually really good, but it's so weird to me that LEGO actually has the design for the No Way Home look and they didn't use it. Now the reason for this is because LEGO only has so many pieces in production at a time. This piece was from 2 years ago, it's not in production anymore would be my guess, but it is a little odd that they literally made the perfect torso and didn't use it. Electro is pretty wild because LEGO gave us these giant, like, Ninjago type pieces in the back for him, which is really cool, and I will say, the LEGO figure is definitely better than the custom I made back in 2021. I mean, it's a cool figure, don't get me wrong, but the new one is just so much better, right? With the eye printing, the torso printing is perfect. On my custom, I used the torso and legs from the Bones Iron Man armor, which, I mean, it's alright, but looking at them side by side, the LEGO figure is so much better than what I made back in the day. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. For my custom, I used the 2004 Doc Ock legs, torso, and head, and then I gave him the modern Harry Potter hair, which I really think works. LEGO went a completely different route, of course, and they made a brand new minifigure. I mean, gosh, it's been 20 years, so of course they did, but they really did something interesting with this. They actually went ahead and made him in gray instead of green. Now, even back in the day, I feel like this green was maybe a little too light. It probably should have been dark green, but it definitely shouldn't have been gray. It's just so strange why LEGO made that choice. I think the head works pretty well, but the Harry Potter hair really would have been a lot better. Even the Harry Potter in brown, I could see the argument for it being black hair or brown, but I do think it's probably more of like a very, very dark brown. Either way, the arms are completely different too. The arms that I made were a lot bigger in the sense that you had basically the piece that joins to the back piece would be 1, 2, 3, and then 4, whereas the LEGO one only uses 3 pieces, so the arms are a lot shorter. The other thing I did, which does break the purist method, is I used a paint pen to give him the nanotech arms, which I really like the way that that looked. But of course, by this point of the movie, he doesn't have the nanotech on his arms anymore, so of course LEGO didn't have any reason to do that. The other thing is, LEGO of course went the traditional route and gave him the like little claws that pretty much every Doc Ock ever has gotten, but these arms here, or the hands rather, were made and designed by Lego Maker 98 over on Instagram. He makes some amazing stuff, so you definitely want to go check out Lego Maker 98, but they're really cool using the little Ninjago disc pieces here. Here, I'll take one off so you can see. You use the Ninjago like triangle piece here with a 1x1 red stud, then one of these 1x1 little, I don't know what you would call that, but you can see what it looks like. And then just using like the various types of claws and things like that to make them look different. I really like the way that that figure turned out. And the Lego one is pretty dang close to perfect with the exception of it being gray. That just will never cease to amaze me that they messed that up so bad. Now, this part isn't a comparison per se, but the Lego set actually did not give us Lizard, and it gave us Sandman's hand, but didn't really give us Sandman. So I recommend using the 2019 All Sand Sandman, and then the Lizard or dinosaur costume guy from the CMF with the head underneath from Orca. That way it kind of looks like there's a mouth inside and all that. That's kind of my recommendation for the best ways to get those figures with what exists right now. The Green Goblin comparison is super interesting to me because I think that this is the figure probably people were most excited for in this set, or Toby and Andrew Garfield, of course. But regardless, I really like the way that my custom has held up against the new one that just came out. So let's break it down. We didn't get leg printing on the new one, and for my custom, I used the legs from the Hulk polybag from 2012. The torso is a relatively common Green Goblin torso with kind of the ripped up purple, like, I guess, shirt. And then the new one, of course, gets brand new printing, which is pretty accurate to the movie. It is a little bit of a bummer that the original, that the new figure doesn't give us any arm printing. That would have been nice, but so few figures, if any, got arm printing in this set anyways. But there actually isn't a single figure in this set that got arm printing, so I guess that's kind of a tall order, isn't it? Anyways, I just put green arms on mine with tan hands. They gave dark green gloves. That works. They gave a pumpkin bomb build here, whereas I just used the original from 2002, 2003. I gave him the purple hood because I think that that was pretty iconic for the movie. Lego gave us the Han Solo hair in dark brown, which is a relatively new piece. I think it debuted in this set, if I'm not mistaken. And Lego did give us a brand new printed head with the goggles on, and I went ahead and used the old Doc Ock goggles. The new head definitely looks better of the two, and of course we do get a reverse head on here that has like the Norman Osborn grin, and then we do get this reverse head on the back that has the Norman Osborn grin, and sometimes I go ahead and use the head from Kite Man for my custom, but I guess it's an unfair comparison because then you need two heads to build my custom, whereas Lego, you only need the official figure. Alright, that brings us to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Now, there doesn't seem to be a huge difference here, but what I used on my custom was the head and hair from the CMF Spider-Man, because I think that that's the best Tom Holland likeness we've gotten to date. I really don't think that the hair on the official figure looks anything like Tom Holland, if you ask me, but I mean, I guess it's nice that they gave us Peter heads to choose from, but I don't think that any of the three of them really look anything like the actors that portray them. Anyways, I also swapped out the arms and gave him the arms from The Incredibles. That way you get a red and black combo on the arms, and I just like that it adds a little bit of extra detail, but I will concede that on the actual suit, there's a lot of black on the arms, so it does kind of make sense to just use black arms. I'm just saying, I do like to add a little bit more detail wherever I can, and I do kind of like the dual molded arms for this, but I could understand if you like the straight black arms either way. Now for Toby, we did get another Peter Parker head. They gave us the like Han Solo Hawkeye head for him, which I really don't think looks anything like Toby Maguire. I do think that the Marty McFly head from back in the day does work pretty well. I don't think that it gets Toby's like current age down perfectly, but I do think it's better than the one Lego gave us. I also gave him flat top brown hair. But of course, the biggest difference is just the body of the figure itself. So I used the 2004 Spider-Man 2 torso and hips, of course the head. I'll show you the masks in a second. And then I did put the modern dual molded legs on there to give him the red boots, which of course Lego gave us on this Spider-Man as well. So let's take a look at what they look like with the masks on. And here they are with the masks on. Now here's the thing, guys. You have to remember that the 2004 Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2 was based off of the practical costume and all that. In the new one, there was a lot of digital rendering going on with Spider-Man's mask in this movie. So with that being said, I do think that the new No Way Home figure does represent, you know, the Toby Spider-Man really well, but there's always gonna be a nostalgic charm for the original minifigure with those printed hips, the awesome head with kind of the reflective silver on it. I just think that both figures exist great on their own, and I really love both of them, so it's hard for me to say which one's better or more accurate, because they're just both great in their own right. And finally, we have the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Now, you have to remember that at the time that the showcase came out, the only official Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was going for $10,000 or more. So I gave a more affordable option and used the Civil War Spider-Man, but more specifically the one from the Tanker Truck Showdown, because it had the concept art spider on there, which in my opinion at the time was the closest we could get to the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man spider on the torso. Another fun fact is right after I published my showcase, this torso and this figure in general completely sold out on Bricklink. So I'm not going to say it's because of my video, but at the same time, it's just kind of fun trivia. So in my custom, I went ahead and used the Spider-Man arms from that same figure to get some printing on there, as well as the legs to add some printing to the legs as well. The head was from Bruce Banner, and of course, Lego and I used the same hairpiece. I think the one I used is a slightly lighter shade of brown, if I'm not mistaken, but it's close enough, doesn't really matter. Then I used the 2012 Spider-Man head, and of course the new one gave us all new pieces, top to bottom, except the hair, which of course has come in a lot of places, and the head actually comes from Jim from The Office. So let's take a look at what they look like with the masks on. Alright, and there we go with the masks on. Now again, in context for what we had to work with in 2021, I am very happy with the way that Andrew Garfield turned out, but of course that new minifigure is literally just perfect. So, you know, it's just fun to look back and look at the limitations we had at the time and figure out what works now and what works then. So with that being said, let's bring this video to a close and wrap it on up. Alright guys, like I said, this really does kind of feel like turning into a new chapter, because for the longest time we've only had customs of these figures to work with, and now we've got official ones. Let me know how you think the customs held up over the years. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.